What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. James and Shane coming at you with a football podcast. As you may see, though, we have a third person with us who has been on the show before, Sean Grady. Sean, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you guys doing today?
Doing pretty well. I worked an 11-hour shift, so I'm exhausted.
I feel so bad for you.
So today, the topic is, I think we mentioned this last week, we are going to start doing NFL division previews for right before the preseason. The reason why it's dropping today, though, is because my Packers and James's Philadelphia Eagles open up camp technically today by the time this uploads, but tomorrow, going by when we record. And then, Sean, I believe the Jets start the next day. I think they start Thursday, the 26th. But we also obviously wanted to have you on because we're doing the AFC East, and you being a Jets fan makes sense to have you on.
Very true.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started with the AFC East. So it's pretty obvious. The favorite. Let's start with the favorite, and it's pretty clear. It's New England Patriots.
Yes.
Everyone's in agreement.
Hold on. I think we should do it last to first.
You want
we
to
should
go last
each
to
go
first?
last to first, and then we should each do records first to last.
Okay. And again, this isn't necessarily predictions. James, you might have gone all out and have some predictions. I don't. I'll give you kind of like what I'm thinking win-loss record, if that's how you thought about it too.
Yeah, I'm not like, this isn't like my concrete final prediction, but I got a pretty good idea of what's going to go down.
Okay, so last to first, I'm curious to see. Sean, you're our guest. I'll let you go first. Who do you have in last place right now in the division? Who do you think's the worst team in this division?
Well, honestly, that's kind of hard because
it's quite a drop off from New England.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a drop. It's a big drop off from New England, unfortunately. But I think that's probably the worst team for 2018. It's in my opinion, it's probably going to be Miami. I think Miami is going to be the worst team.
Expand on that. Why?
I'm just looking at the roster right now. Like, I mean, sure, Ryan Tannehill.
That's all you had to say, Sean.
Pretty much. They got Ryan Tannehill. He's average. So let's just put it that way.
Gase, below average running backs, overrated receiver.
They don't even. I'm looking at the receivers
below
right.
Average O-line.
Mm-hmm, that's no doubt.
D-line. They're not good. A couple of
that's about it. And even though obviously, I'm going to do Panther on the team. That's still a big person to lose. So they're definitely regressing.
Yep.
No, yeah, I agree. At times, it looked like Adam Gase, the job was too big for him. This might be his last year, in all seriousness.
He's a coordinator.
Oh.
I will agree with that.
But
now I think
they are not my last place team.
They're not mine either.
Third, I probably put. I'm going to put the Bills. They're getting better. They made the playoffs last year, which I don't know how. I really don't.
I don't either.
Yeah. That was just
terrible.
Yeah.
AFC's terrible.
They got in by luck.
You're not wrong about that.
But
so Jets.
Yeah, I do. I will say the second place is Jets, but I mean, even though that's pretty optimistic for what some people would think. Because I've seen I believe it was NFL Network that predicted them to go either 10-6 or 11-5.
Hey, the Jets?
Yeah. No.
Stop.
And I think it was NFL. No, I'm a Jets fan. I'm like, you guys are stupid.
They'll be lucky to win half of that.
No, well, I think the Jets realistically will go anywhere between 6-10 and 9-7.
That's fair.
Okay, that's fair.
And then obviously New England's going to fall top, but I think that this is going to be the beginning of their downfall.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah, I actually heard Cowherd today talking about how this isn't a Super Bowl winning roster, and I think he's 100% right. We can get into more depth with New England later on, but I agree with him. James, who do you have? I'm almost certain I know who you have 4-1, and I bet you we have the exact same.
Maybe. All right. Well, 4. Unfortunately, I do have the Jets.
Okay, no, we don't have the same then.
Then I do have 2 through 4 very, very, very close. So it's not like the Jets are like last and they're like by far the worst team in the division. Sam Darnold, I do think is going to be good. I don't think he's going to start till probably week 7 or 8. Don't have a lot of weapons on offense. Got a really well-coached defense. Some couple of standout players on there, but overall just don't have the offensive play to really get the job done. 2 or 3, I have the Bills. The Bills, honestly, if they didn't put all their chips in, the Josh Allen basket and trade their left tackle and, have Richie Incognito retire and everything, I'd have them maybe making the playoffs again. But their offensive line went from like top 10 to bottom 10. LaShawn McCoy might be done in the NFL forever, pending whatever happens with that. Josh Allen is a complete question mark. I think he'll be good eventually, but he'll obviously be pretty bad at first. A.J. McCarron is barely a backup.
Mm-hmm.
They still have some talent on defense. They still have a really good defensive roster. Tre'Davious White is potentially a top 5 corner.
They have a very good secondary, I think, with Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious. Just said his name, Tre'Davious White.
Micah Hyde used to be a good player for the Packers. Yeah, I really liked this team honestly until the offensive line is it's not issues. They used to have a good offensive line. Now they don't. If they had a good offensive line still, I'd say start Josh Allen right away, and I think they could still probably win a decent amount of games. But got them at 3. 2, I have the Dolphins, even though the Dolphins are like one of my least favorite franchises in the whole NFL. How Miami professional sports teams have a trouble being good is beyond me. All the LA teams can be good because of their geography. All the free agents want to go there. Miami baseball
and
sucks.
one more thing to that. All these free agents make money and go to LA most of the time. And Miami has something that California can't offer, and that's no state tax.
No state income tax. Exactly. Like, Miami could be like a haven for sports championships, and it's just not. If it wasn't
it's all just all stars and all the glitter that comes with the LA territory. It's not about the money; it's more about the exposure. LA's definitely a more place to get exposure.
And for the first place team, it's obviously going to be the Patriots. I want to put this out there. If they were in a slightly tougher division, they might not make the playoffs this year.
If they were in the NFC, I'm not sure they'd make the playoffs.
I haven't talked to Shane about this yet, but I think this is like Hot Take Tuesday, but I think Tom Brady gets injured this year. I really do. And I'm a Tom Brady fanboy. I don't wish that on him, but
I'm not the biggest Brady fan, but I don't want that to happen.
He's slower than ever, obviously, and he has probably the worst offensive line of his entire career at the most inopportune time. He lost his biggest weapon for the first 4 games, not his biggest weapon behind Gronk, for the first 4 games.
I forgot Edelman suspended. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost Amendola. They have a lacrosse player as their number 1 receiver right now outside of Gronk. It's just, I don't know. The Patriots are probably only going to go. I'm going to go back down for records. Patriots are only going to win 10 games this year.
Ooh, that's
Dolphins are going to go 500 because that's what they will be perpetually for the rest of their existence. They're going to be a 7-13 7-9 to 9-17 forever. That's just what they are. The Bills are going to go 6-10, and the Jets are going to go 6-10.
Hey man, make sure your finger is off the microphone.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go. So go through that again.
Okay.
I could barely hear you.
I got the Patriots 10-6, taking a big step back. They have a really easy schedule as usual, just because their division's so dysfunctional. I got the Dolphins at 8-8. They got just good enough of a quarterback to just eke by, go 500. The Bills are going to go 6-10 off the defense alone, and the Jets are going to go 6-10 off their defense alone, probably. So that's how I have the AFC East shaking out. But if you ask me this next year, I think the Jets might come in first place.
It depends a lot on what Brady does in the offseason. But I don't think that's that much of a hot take. All right, so my turn. In fourth place. Actually, Sean, I think we have the exact same. I got no. I think you had the Dolphins. So mine will be different.
Yeah, okay.
And there's only one other team left other than the Patriots. That's the Buffalo Bills. I think they come in last in the division. I look at their
We'll have
roster.
different last place teams.
What's that? Yeah, we all have different last place teams, and that each of them can finish last place. But like you said, James, I look at their offensive roster. Their offensive line was top 10 last year. Maybe you could argue top 5, and they're all gone. Cordy Glenn's gone. Eric Wood's gone. Richie Incognito's gone. They even lost. I'm trying to find it here. Seantrell Henderson. I think he was their starting right tackle. That's 4 dudes that are gone. They got an unproven quarterback in Josh Allen, but I still like him. A.J. McCarron is a backup. Who knows? He might perform well. LaShawn McCoy could be out of the league. Their wide receiving cores, I've seen worse. Kelvin Benjamin, Zay Jones, Jeremy Curley. It's okay, but they have
Jordan
no
Matthews
offensive
too,
line.
right?
What's that?
Oh, no, he went to the Pats. Jordan Matthews went to the Pats.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Kelvin Benjamin, Zay Jones, Jeremy Curley, Andre Holmes. That's kind of the top 4. Honestly, it's okay. If they still had an offensive line, I think this could potentially be a playoff team because their defense is pretty good. Their defensive line, Jerry Hughes. I know this because I'm looking at the roster. Kyle Williams, Star Lotulelei, Shaq Lawson. I mean, they're pretty deep on the defensive front. They got Tremaine Edmonds in the draft, who I like. And like I said, they got a really good secondary with Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde. But I can't pick them with this quarterback situation. First of all, they have some brutal road games to start the season. At Baltimore, at Minnesota, at Green Bay, at Houston, at Indianapolis. And that's in their first 8 games. I could see them starting 1-7, honestly. But I'll move on. I touched up on Buffalo. In third place, I do have the Miami Dolphins. Right now, they always do something. I will say this. They always do something that make me kind of like them. Even though they lost Ndamukong Suh, Jarvis Landry, Mike Pouncey, and Lawrence Timmons in the offseason, they come out and have a pretty good draft with Minkah Fitzpatrick, Mike Gesicki, Jerome Baker. Those are 3 solid players. So it's like, they lose. Oh, they're going to suck.
They got Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, they lose all these guys. I'm like, oh, they're going to suck. And then they have a good draft. I'm like, well, maybe. Are they going to suck? But
They're going to suck.
Yeah.
They also brought in Frank Gore, who's an ageless wonder, but they brought in Danny Amendola. I think their offensive line is better than you think, James. Laramie Tunsil's pretty good. They got 2 decent tackles. It's the interior that's an issue. Defensively, I think they have a pretty good defense. It's not as good on the defensive front as it's been the last few years. They have 2 good ends, Robert Quinn and Cam Wake, that are pretty good, but the interior, I don't know really what to expect in the interior with Sue gone. Secondary's unproven. I don't dislike their corners, Xavier Howard, Cordrea Tankersley, and then they added Minkah Fitzpatrick. I don't trust Tannehill coming off an ACL injury, and like we said with Adam Gase, I'm just not sure. They made the playoffs his first year. But I just felt like last year the ship has sailed. He's struggling with being a head coach. Just seems like the job's too big for him. So in second, we all know who I'm going to have at number as the first place team. So in second, I actually do have the New York Jets. Nothing special though. I could see I have them right now. I'll go ahead and say their record. I have them at about 7-9. I think their schedule works outside the first 3 games. The first 3 games is at Detroit, at home against Miami, and then at Cleveland. The Cleveland game I think is going to tell a lot about this season. If they go on the road and lose, I would expect another losing season. If they go on the road and get a win, I think this could be a 500 team. Just that's a game you should win. But you get to play Buffalo and Miami twice, so the potential for 2 to 3 wins right there. But I do like Sam Darnold. He has no help on offense though. They added Isaiah Crowell, who's a decent running back. They have no wide receivers outside Robbie Anderson, who's pretty good. Their offensive line is really not any good. It's going to take a lot, I think, for this team to make the playoffs, if I'm being honest. But I still think 7-9 is reasonable. They get a 4th place schedule, I believe, Sean. Is that right?
Yes.
I
yes,
think
they do.
So that helps a little bit. I do like their defense, though, especially the secondary after adding Trumaine Johnson. Now you get Trumaine Johnson, Mo Claiborne, Buster Skrine, or Screen. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name.
It's Screen.
Is it Screen? Okay.
Yep.
And then, Jamal Adams and Marcus May. I do really like their secondary, but they don't really have a pass rush.
Oh,
This feels like a team that could go 500. It could easily go 6-10 also, but I do like Todd Bowles also as head coach. And in first place, to no one's surprise, I got the New England Patriots. Just making sure how much time we got. Okay, we're doing pretty good. New England Patriots, look, they got the best quarterback and head coach by far in this division. But James, you said they go 10-6. I'm not far behind you. I think this is an 11-5 team. I'm giving them some credit, but I didn't like this team last year because of what they had in the trenches, and they go on to win to be in the Super Bowl. But this year, I liked them even less.
Lost their left tackle, dude.
Yeah, they lose their best offensive tackle, and then the rest of the offensive line, I couldn't even tell you who's good. Trent Brown, I think, is okay. They traded for him, but the rest of the line, Joe Thuney, David Andrews, Shaq Mason, Marcus Cannon, I've never heard of these guys, and they could potentially start. Their wide receiving core, which was really good last year, is not that good this year. Julian Edelman, and then you got Chris Hogan, Jordan Matthews, and then Philip Dorsett, who's a bust. And then you got Rob Gronk, obviously, who's pretty good. I'll say this. I think they really need Sonny Michel to
He'll be
ball
good.
out. I think he will be, too. They really need him to be good despite having a bad offensive line. And then defensively, I do like their secondary. They probably have the best secondary in this division with Jason McCourty, Stephon Gilmore, and then they drafted Duke Dawson, and then you got Devin McCourty, Patrick Chung. Probably the best secondary in this division, but this defensive front is atrocious. I'll go ahead and say it. James, listen to this. And Sean, sorry. But Trey Flowers, I do like Adrian Claiborne, though. I will say that. Adrian Claiborne.
He's not good.
He's all right. He's not a starter, though. But Trey Flowers and Adrian Claiborne are likely going to start. You got Danny Shelton, who hasn't quite panned out. Malcolm Brown, who's okay. And then their linebackers are Kyle Van Noy and Dante Hightower. Obviously, Hightower's pretty good. This could be with Matt Patricia.
Pretty good, Phil.
Yeah, with Matt Patricia gone, I won't be shocked if this team is gashed in the run game. They have no one who can stop the run.
Who's their D coordinator now?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't even know.
I don't either. I haven't done that research. But yeah, so if I had to say their records, right now I'm liking the Patriots to go about 11-5. It could easily be 12-4 with the way the AFC pans out. And then the Jets in second, about 7-9. The Dolphins in third at 6-10, and the Bills in fourth at 5-12 or 5-11. I'm sorry.
If I was going to get my input on records, I will say Patriots probably will go 11-5. They're AFC East obviously is a joke. for right now. In coming years,
I could
it's gonna
see
be a
them
lot
sweeping
more
the division. I don't think it will, though. They've, as good as the Patriots have been, they've never really swept that division. They always have trouble in Miami. The Jets are always tricky. So they always seem to stumble somewhere in the division, no matter how good they are.
Right. So, like I said, 11-5, the guys, the Patriots, and then like I said, the Jets. I'm actually going to go a little high. I'm going to be optimistic and say 9-7. I will say 9-7.
9-7 will get you in the playoffs in the AFC.
I will say, like, if they don't make the playoffs, they're gonna be out of the playoffs by week 16 probably. Yeah. Then, like I said, I think Buffalo will be. I think Buffalo will finish 7-9, and I honestly think that Miami. I think it's going to be like when I say down year, I mean down year. I think they might go like 3-13. Like, I know that's a big prediction, but I think they're a 3-6 at best win team this year. They're not that good this year. And I'm not even just saying that because they're division rivals. They don't look good on paper, and they're not. I don't until we see them in like their 53-man roster, which they're still not going to be good.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I like this team more than the rest of you. Y'all are just trashing on them. No, James, you had them at 8-8, I think.
Yeah, I have them. Yeah, they're a middling team. They're not.
I could see that. I don't trust Adam Gase or Ryan Tannehill.
Exactly.
Outside of those areas, they have a roster I think that could be in the playoffs. But yeah, those are the two most important positions.
I mean, and I just looked at the roster. I did not know this until today, but Ryan Tannehill's backup is Brock Osweiler. So
yeah, that's preparing if he gets hurt again or he sucks. They at least have somebody who can come in with some experience.
Right, but they're still not going to. I still say they're going to have a really down year. 3-13, like my predictions, Ozzy. It's probably not going to happen, but I do think it might happen.
I think it's possible. They open with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In their first 5 games, they have 3 road games. At the Jets, at New England, and then at Cincinnati. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. So 3 of their first 5 games are on the road against teams who, outside of New England, have a pretty good defense. And then obviously New England, you got Brady and Belichick. You're likely not going to win in Foxborough unless you're pretty good. And then another thing to watch out for, all of these teams in this division have very late bye weeks. I think they all have a week 10 bye week. So they could be limping mid-season before making a potential push, in the last 6 games of the year. Just something else to keep an eye on.
I like a week 10 bye. That's like perfect.
I agree. You're the more fresh of the teams. It's better. It's a lot better than a week 7 bye.
Yeah, I agree. It's just something to keep an eye on. I think just very late, and then I'm trying to find other road games. At Houston, tough road game. At Green Bay, tough road game for Miami. At Indianapolis, coming off the bye week, tough. At Minnesota, Sean, you're not wrong. I think this could be a 4-12 season, or 3-13 maybe even. And maybe Adam Gase gets fired mid-season.
I see it.
I can see it too.
I do too.
So anything else? I wanted to keep this within 30 minutes. Anything else y'all wanted to talk about?
This was a boring division, though.
Yeah,
so.
This was a really boring division. Sean, I still appreciate you coming on, but I don't really have anything else. I just wanted to bring on somebody who was, a fan of someone in this division to talk with us about this.
Thanks for coming on, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope we didn't waste your time. I know it wasn't very long.
It was great. It was great being on.
Yeah.
I always like talking.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
no,
always
no problem at all.
it's
I
always-
like talking sports with you guys.
yeah, it's always great to have some Chick-fil-A guys back together.
Exactly.
All right, so yeah, very boring division. We all had the same team. We thought who was going to win it all in the preseason, but 3 different last place teams. So that is something to look forward to this season.
hmm
All right, my man.
Agreed.
I'll let y'all go.
All right, boys.
I got to get some sleep. I'm exhausted from this long day of work.
Same.
Understandable.
Yeah, Sean,
All right.
thank you again for coming on.
No problem. Take
All
care,
right.
guys.
Yep, you
Later.
too.